Hi, everybody. I am talking to you a little bit more about exercise 6. It should be fairly straightforward as an exercise, but I want to walk you through also because I'm walking through for you an imaginary thought process through the exercise. Here, we're going to focus on setting, and in particular, I'm asking you to think about the history of locations, what happens in certain places, and being really creative about the possibilities for that place over time and over space. So in past exercises, you've written the same scene in multiple ways, and there it's the same time, the same place, different perspectives. Here we're focusing on the same place, but with different sets of characters and different times. I'm asking you to write 3 to 5 lexia, all of which are only connected through the place. They are not connected by the same set of characters or the same moment or anything like that. We're also incorporating an image into this exercise. So part of your challenge here is not just writing, but how you are going to be placing text on a page with a background image. So the end result here for me should be one, a bunch of writing, 3 to 5 lexia, about 75 words each, but then also one screen or 1 or 2 pages that have your background image on them and the text placed somewhere on them in various creative ways. That's up to you. I'll get to that. So there's 3 steps to this exercise. The first step is that I want you to find a photograph of probably an external location, someplace that where lots of different things can happen. It could be an interior location like a restaurant, not your room or a domestic space, but a trailhead, the steps to a courthouse, where you can get a diversity of things that happen. You can see that my screen's a little bit different here and that I have a playground, and I'm going to talk about the playground in more detail. So that's step one. Obviously, being creative about the photograph you find is going to be intrinsic to you because you're going to be using that to imagine the things that can happen in that space. So next, once you have that, you're going to write 3 to 5 lexia. You don't want them to be too long because you need to get them on the page, although a creative person might not have them all on the page, may have them bleed off the page or may not appear all at once or something like that in twine fashion. You're going to write in third person limited, which means this time no memories, just action, description, dialogue, appearance. Each of these lexia have to happen to different people at different times in that space. Yes, they can be both contemporary, but they can't be the same moment, the same event. These scenes don't have to be important. It could be the first time somebody goes out to lunch with somebody. It could be the first time that 2 kids play. It could be the first time that they have a theater production in the place. It doesn't have to be important. You're digging into the small moment of the scene. Does not have to be big. Okay. So in my case, um, I've developed this, and I'm sitting here going, okay, I've got this picture of the playground. And then I start by self reflecting in a nonfiction way. What are the kinds of things I did on a playground? And I sort of imagine the playgrounds of my youth. Yeah, I fell off a skateboard once. Yes, I got chased by bullies for what seemed like an entire year. And then when I was an adult, I remember a playground in Berlin where I sat with my godson and he played Ice Cream Store and asked me what kind of ice cream I wanted, and he gave me the ice cream. So I'm just thinking about the ways in which space is used differently at different times. Then I'm starting to delete or not include things that are obvious and or stereotypical about playgrounds. Boring play, drug deals, kidnappings, predatory people. None of those I want to deal with. I want to get to stuff that is a little bit less obvious, stuff that I might realize if I spent a lot of time at this playground, just I watched a lot of video of a year at this playground, but not the things that are just stereotypical. And then I start to develop a whole bunch of things. I may not use all these, but I'm developing a world here in a certain way. This is a different kind of world building, is not thinking about the wideness of a world, but what can happen in a single place. So I'm thinking about the construction worker who is building this, but is at home also trying to have kids and is unable to, and how that might be complicated. I'm thinking about the things that teenagers do in the morning, at the night. They play, they drink, they hang out, they live their goth lives. And one of them maybe lives right behind the playground and collects all of the lost things every day. Maybe that turns into your story. There used to be an old age home across the street, and I'm thinking about the elderly couple who walk around there and how they're dealing with the fact that one of them is dying. and so on. I'm just creating little stories, almost like focus groups or target peoples or something like that, except I'm trying to make them a little bit unusual. The mayor's third cousin that was supposed to get the corrupt cleaning contract for this place but doesn't, and now as revenge scatters his trash there all day. Or, the person who tapes love notes to the bottom of the slide, but we never know who it is. I'm just gathering here. And of these, I hopefully you get 10 or 20. That's up to you. I choose 3 or 5 to write, the moment. I write that 75 words where that person um, goes up at a certain time of day and, the tapes with their scotch tape a note to the bottom of the slide and pats the slide 2 times for good luck. I'm writing the 75 words where 3 kids set up a webcam to find the town coyote that nobody has ever seen. I'm writing 75 words on from the perspective of the director of somebody who is trying to film a detective show in this place. I'm writing 75 words of the conversation with the elderly couple. And so once I get 3 to 5 of those, and they all should all be, as usual, detailed, and I should learn a lot of things about these characters without you summarizing anything. It should all be in scene. You don't have to explain anything to me. I should just start getting things by what you're doing. Um, and I'm thinking also just about what time of year is it? What things are also there? Toys, sand, water, um, kids making up stuff, how 50 years from now this might look very different. I'm thinking about all this stuff as I incorporate it in, so it's not all happening this year at this time, but it might be. There might be, a sticker for voting on this, or who knows what. Okay, so once I've written these 3 to 5 Lexia, I am going to go back and my goal now is to superimpose those Lexia on this image. Now, you can do this in Twine if you're advanced right now, and you know a little bit about Z layers and placement. It might be easier for you just to do this in Microsoft Word, where you can make this the background image and plop things on. And there you're thinking about how the total composition, the picture in relation to the images, and what is the relationship of one Lexia to each other. It's okay if I can't read them all. You might play with opacity and have them sort of be in kind of visible and invisible layers. That's totally fine. But you're thinking about, like if I made a poster of this, what would be the coolest poster? Okay, that's your exercise. As a challenge, you might want to think about what you would do with these in Twine once you learn how to click on things and have other things appear or disappear or overwrite them. We'll be learning that over the next week, so you might consider how these stories might develop over time without you having to go from page to page to page to page. All right, that is exercise 6. Again, what I'm expecting from you is your Word or PDF document with the Lexia, and then the 1 or 2 pages either in Twine or in Word or in InDesign, whatever you want, that have the background image as the full thing with the Lexia laid on top of it, maybe in another color. Who knows? That is exercise 6.